Well, good morning, my beautiful people on TikTok. I didn't come as early as I usually do first thing in the morning because I decided to go live on YouTube first this morning. I did. And we were discussing a lot with the Sebastian Rogers case. This is Sebastian Rogers. He's a 15-year-old autistic boy that went missing on February 26th and hasn't been seen since. And since then, a lot of drama has come out in this case. But in this morning when I was on my YouTube channel, we were discussing possible motives. Motives. Hey, Kendra, it's nice to see you guys. Thank you all for coming in. I don't know how many of you guys are in the true crime genre or are familiar with this case. This is a young boy. He was at his mom's house with his stepfather. His stepfather apparently was out of town doing some work, and when the mom went to go wake him up in the morning, he was gone. House was locked, doesn't appear anybody broke in. He doesn't like dirt, doesn't usually leave the house without shoes because of an experience with fire ants. Again, he's autistic, so they need schedules, they need all this other stuff. So the idea that he's just going to willy-nilly walk out of his house is a little perplexing for many people. And so a lot of people have been looking at the stepfather and the mom about this. But the possible motive here, I've been watching a lot of stuff, and I know here on TikTok, you guys are not really on YouTube. I am. I'm on YouTube. I have platforms just about on every social media platform imaginable. And so one of my main accounts is also on YouTube. So I watch a lot of YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube creators, and a lot of these creators are getting interviews. Good morning, guys. Are getting interviews with these parents. And so one of these interviews kind of really disclosed a lot of information, in my opinion, related to Chris Proudfoot, Katie Proudfoot, and Seth. And one of those things is that the families have been working together and have spoke to each other almost every single day since they've been in this custody arrangement. They have a very good working relationship with one another. Seth and Chris talk almost daily prior to the disappearance of Sebastian rather. And so when we hear Seth say that the families have nothing to do with them, it's a little perplexing because they work together. So why are they all of a sudden stopping communication with the biological father of this child? It doesn't make sense. But one thing I learned from these interviews on a variety of shows, one was Pascal's show and the other one was T-Rev, again on YouTube. And I learned that Chris approached Seth about taking Sebastian and taking full custody of Sebastian. It was Chris that approached him. It wasn't Katie that approached Seth. It was Chris. And so when we watched the Nina interview, the Nina Gomez, if you guys haven't watched that, that's Chris Proudfoot's ex-wife. And she details a lot of horrible abuses to her and her other children. And so it's very apparent to me he doesn't really like other people's kids or has the temperament to handle that. And he was going to court with this lady to get custody of his daughter, Faith. Now, I don't know if the courts were going to give him Faith, but it sounded like he did not want Faith around Sebastian. So again, is this a situation? And here's the kicker. Did you know that Katie Proudfoot is the breadwinner? I checked their financial documents or what they have in the public records for their home purchase. And she's in the first position, which tells me that she either has better credit or makes more money. And I would venture to say probably both, because with Sebastian, she did receive a disability stipend each month from our government for his disability. So she would have been in a position to probably have more money than Chris. But she's in the first position on the mortgage. And I keep wondering, is this a situation, because we heard that Chris was on the phone with her for 3 hours that evening. Did he wait for her to go to bed and then sneak in the house and get rid of his problem? Because it sounded like the only person that had a problem with Sebastian is Chris. Nobody else seems to have a problem with Sebastian other than Chris. And Chris just is the only one. Now, granted, I don't know how he got those scratches all up and down his arms. He's saying it's from the Yorkies, the mini Yorkies, the Morkies. I don't know. I'm not there. All I can say is these things don't make sense. All of these things singularly would not give us or paint this picture. But with all these things collectively, you know, the kid goes missing, mom and dad aren't searching, stepfather has scratches up and down his arm, stepfather thinks it's a state secret to know his whereabouts, yet we can know the whereabouts of bio mom and bio dad. But somehow for Chris Proudfoot, him being so far away, we're not allowed to know where he was or what he was doing. I find that awfully suspicious. Then you've got the fact that they stopped all communications with Seth after he disappeared. They haven't helped search for their son. They've actually did just the opposite. They packed up everything and ran away. So while all these things are, you know, singularly would not mean anything, would not, add up to a hill of beans, in this particular situation, we've got all of these things happening in close conjunction with each other that's painting this very bizarre picture about what could have happened to Sebastian Rogers. And quite frankly, it concerns many of us because the story from mom, bio mom, and stepdad to me does not make sense. Let's go ahead and hear. That could have been, thus Katie here was C sneaking in to take him. And see, I wonder that because, you know, the mom is believed. I don't want to ever think a mom can do anything or just, you know, wildly support a man that she just watched brutalize her child and not be completely hysterical watching somebody brutalize their child. But then I got to remember they've been in the military. They've seen death before. They've seen a lot of it. And I've got to take that into consideration when I'm dealing with the parents. These are military. And again, it comes back to the fact that both of these people are military trained people, yet they're the only ones that aren't out there searching for their son. And people that aren't military trained are out there searching for this. Just a lot of stuff just doesn't make sense with this case. And again, I'm not pointing the finger at the mom, the bio mom, and the stepdad. I'm just saying they have a lot of explaining to do still. And I've been saying this all week and the week before this that they have some explaining to do. And out of all the interviews, they still haven't explained away these key issues. Where was Chris? What was Chris doing that weekend? And do we have proof that they're on the phone with each other for 3 hours every single night? Or was this particular night just special for her and Chris? I want to know those questions. And right now we're not getting the answers to those questions. So guys, that's what I have for you today. This is your breaking news case updates related to Sebastian Rogers. This is sponsored by our memberships, our subscriptions. Thank you so much, Chasita. But this is sponsored by our subscriptions here on TikTok. So if you would like to sponsor one of these shows, please consider going up there and making your monthly contribution for the Bullhorn Betty channel here on TikTok. Thank you, Nicole. God bless you guys. Keep rocking it out with your coffee beans out. We will be back today with more latest and greatest information. We're still on the hunt for Sebastian Rogers. Many of you know I'm down like 4 flat tires. I'm hoping to get my car back this week. Keep our fingers crossed because I'd like to go out there and participate in the searches for Sebastian Rogers. Happy Easter. Yeah, happy belated Easter. Thank you, Nicole. You guys have a great day. Rock it out with your coffee beans out and don't let the Manic Monday bite you too hard in the butt. Have a great day, guys.